So it just happens to be on the weekend of Sacrifice and Revolution that I fall ill. So apologies if I sound a bit under the weather and this video might be heavily edited for sneezing, coughing or any of the above. But yeah, let's talk about Sacrifice. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid and today we are talking about Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2022. Now this show as a whole I thought was a bit, in terms of the build, I thought it was a bit weird because it was only sort of 2 weeks removed from No Surrender. I thought it was a bit oddly placed, maybe it could have been a bit later. So personally I don't think the build for this show was great. However, the show itself, I think, is one of the strongest shows of the year of any company. I think from, head to toe, this card was stacked with some quality matches, quality character work, and just quality storytelling. So shall we get straight into it, right with the opening match, Trey Miguel versus Jake something. Now this match, I love the X Division. I love what Trey Miguel is doing. I really like Jake something. This is one of my favourite matches of the year. Anyone who watches the channel knows that I do enjoy good spot fests and flippy stuff, high flying action, and this blended Trey Miguel's flippy stuff, if you will, with the power of Jake something, and it was magic to behold. Some of the transitions, Jake something rolling through with a gut wrench straight through into a set out powerbomb, I thought was sick. The diving Canadian destroyer through the bottom rope is a spot that looked terrifying. I hope I never see again, but I'm really glad I saw it because it was awesome. It was sick. There was so much good stuff in this match. It went long, it got a lot of time, and it really put over Jake something. Jake something who, when I started watching Impact, I wasn't too fond of, didn't really get his character, but in the ring he is absolutely solid and I cannot fault him at all. Trey Miguel picked up the win in a hard fought bout. This was easily match of the night for me. I absolutely loved it. And then we moved on to Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. Eddie Edwards of Honor No More versus Rhino of Team Impact. This felt like a standard lumberjack match. You had Honor No More on one side and Team Impact on the other. Rhino would get thrown out, he'd get beat up by Honor No More. Eddie Edwards got rolled back in by Team Impact. It felt a bit standard for me. I thought some of the character work by Edwards was good. I thought overall it didn't outstay its welcome. But I think coming off the turn, Eddie Edwards needed a bit more than this. I think he needed a more high-profile match on this card, not being second to the opener, personally. Eddie Edwards picked up the win. Steve Macklin came down, turned heel, kind of. He's kind of just his own thing, Steve Macklin, isn't he? And then, picked up the win after that turn. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I think it could have been elevated a little bit more, personally. Then we moved on to a match that I was sort of looking forward to. The Inspiration versus the Influence for the Knockouts Tag Team titles. This match got so much time. I honestly didn't think that it would last as long as it did. It felt like it went really long. There was some really good near falls in this match. And it all sort of played onto the story of Caleb with a K, whose side is he on? And I loved the finish. Similar to the Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman Crown Jewel spot where he throws the belt in the middle of the two. Caleb throws the Knockouts Tag Team title through the legs of, I believe, Cassie Lee into Tennille Dashwood's hands, and she clocks Cassie Lee. The Inspiration, no, oh god, this is confusing. The Influence are the new Knockouts Tag Team champions. I think it's good. I love the Inspiration. I think the Inspiration are great, but I think this adds a bit more flavour to the story, not sort of knowing who Caleb's aligned with. And I thought it was a really smart finish. I can't fault it whatsoever. And the match got a lot of time and it was really, really fun. So I'd definitely check this one out if you can. Next up, we got a match that I was a bit harsh on personally, and it was Jonah versus PCO. And the reason I say I was a bit harsh on this is because when it started, it was a bit plodding. It was a bit sort of boof, and I was like, oh, I hope this is quick. I hope this is a quick slugfest. But credit to both men, they absolutely turned it around. This is another match that went quite long for what I think was, I didn't expect it to be as long as it was. They beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. They took some insane bumps. The swanton, well, it's not even a swanton from PCO, it's just sort of like a fall on the apron, was scary. The tombstone pile driver on the steel steps from Jonah was scary. And then they just chopped each other. They chopped each other so hard, I could feel it through the screen. And I thought it was great. I really ended up enjoying this match. And again, that's on me. I felt a bit harsh when the match finished because they put on an absolute banger. And this match was close to being sort of, my favourite match of the night personally. It was sort of this and Trey Miguel. So yeah, I'd go out your way to see this one. Don't let the opening moments, fool you, because they work towards something really great. It was a really fun match with Jonah picking up the win. Next up, we got Jay White versus Shelley. This was another match that went pretty long. For some reason, with this one, I didn't feel fully invested throughout. I don't know why. I don't know what it was about this match. It just didn't click for me. I could tell that they were being insanely good in the ring, but there was just that little bit of disconnect. And I think towards the end, I sort of started to get back into it. But it was a bit, I don't know. I think everyone's going to love this match and maybe say it's match of the night. But for me, it just didn't hit me personally. Jay White and Shelley, two great performers. They told a great story of sort of, the way Shelley was the mentor of Jay White, and that played out quite well. But yeah, there was just something about this that didn't click for me, sadly. I preferred Jay White's match with Eric Young at No Surrender. That's me personally. But it was a good match. It was a really good match. Next match was Dianna Perez's Open Challenge. Now, this match I thought was really fun. I was expecting a debut. Instead, we got Chelsea Green. I love Chelsea Green. She's really great in the ring, and she's telling the story with Mickie James at the moment, sort of being best friends. We like the best friends. Not those best friends. These best friends. So they had a really fun match. They had a really fun encounter, and this led to a sort of an arm break spot by Dianna Perez, in which it looked like the ref was going to call the match off. It looked like he threw the axe up and everything. But she chose to carry on, did Chelsea Green, only to get her arm nearly ripped off by Dianna Perez with the Fujiwara armbar, which was great. Really put over Perez as a mega star and a mega baddie. Now, Chelsea Green rolls out of the ring, Mickie James comes down, and then Tasha Steelz' music hits, and we go straight into the next match. Mickie James is focusing on Chelsea Green as Steelz waits in the ring. She wants this opportunity. It was almost like a Money in the Bank cash-in. So James gets in the ring, and they have a bout. They have a sort of a heated exchange in which Tasha Steelz tries to one-up Mickie James. However, I feel like this match went too long. I thought the story they were telling was that Mickie was so focused on Chelsea Green that she's going to lose her title. But Chelsea Green goes to the back, and there's probably like another 8 minutes or so on the match. And I didn't think it worked for that story. I think if Steelz had beat her quite quick when she was focused on Green, I thought that would have been way more effective than them two having a competitive match and Steelz winning the championship. It was a great match. It was a great encounter, don't get me wrong. I just don't feel like the story was correct. I don't feel like the story worked for what they were telling there. But Steelz is the new Impact Knockouts champion, and that's great, because Tasha Steelz is great. I'm intrigued to see what Mickie James does next. And like I said, great match, not too keen on the story. Next up, we got the tag team title match. got the Good Brothers versus Violent by Design. I don't think so far I've fully seen what the Good Brothers can do in the ring as a unit, because this match felt a little too standard, a little too by the numbers for me in terms of a tag team match. This match felt a little bit too by the numbers for me. It didn't really feel like a great tag team match. I think this is because I have just been spoiled by AEW personally and their great flippy, insane tag matches that they have. So having two sort of big guys in a tag team and not so many sort of smoke and mirrors or flips or anything like that, maybe it makes me look down on it a little bit. Maybe that's my standard. But I thought this was solid. I thought it was a really solid match with Violent by Design picking up the win. This was a very strange decision for me because on the one hand, I really like it because, you know, they made the deal with the Good Brothers to get the tag title match and they fulfilled their side of the bargain. They get the tag title match, they win. Sort of a good guy story, is it not? But you've just had the Good Brothers side with Bullet Club, so surely you'd want to protect them and have them win. I'm intrigued to see where the tag teams go next, where the tag team division goes as a whole. But this match sort of underwhelmed me a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this one. I was left wanting a little bit more from this. But I feel like we're probably going to get a hardcore match down the line. Violent by Design versus the Good Brothers in like a, I don't know, maybe a lockdown or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, okay match. On to the main event. And the main event was Heath versus Moose. Moose! I love Moose. I absolutely love Moose. Moose's presence and his entrance and his presentation is just great. He is honestly one of the best world champions in the world right now. And yeah, he had a really good match with Heath. Again, this was a little bit formulaic, but I think both men worked around that. I think the beatdowns that Moose was putting on Heath worked incredibly well, and I think the comeback that Heath did, hitting his finish, was really, really good. That was a really good near fall, to be honest. I was like, no way they're going to switch the belts here. And they didn't. You know, Moose spear, Heath goes down. Wasn't the longest match by any means, but it was fun. It was a fun main event. But that led to the angle afterwards as Moose is celebrating who should run out but Josh Alexander. He signed a contract. He cut a promo on Moose. It looks like we're probably getting Josh Alexander versus Moose at Rebellion, I would say, for that Impact World Championship. I can't wait for that. I think there's enough time to do a really good build for those guys and give Alexander this mega push into that show because he is an absolute star and an absolute draw. So yeah, I thought the show ended really strongly. I would say as a whole, Sacrifice was a little bit uneven, but I think the complete overall package, and I forgot to say this, I meant to say this, Matthew Raywalt and Tom Hannifan, I want to say his name is, Tom Phillips, the commentary, fantastic. I love Impact commentary. They are really good. They really elevate a show and give insight into the matches, which I think is missing in a lot of commentary, professional wrestling these days. I really like these two together. So yeah, there's that. But overall, I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really solid show. There was nothing on there that was terrible or bad. Even bad. I don't think there was anything that was bad. I just think some matches were a bit formulaic, and I'd like to see them all shaken up, and it probably will be when we get to Rebellion. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.